guys, but basically what it says is that Griffin did everything right in the first round, and SKT did everything right and lost in the second round.
Very, very interesting to explain. Remember, no turrets picked up by SKT in the first round, Robin. It's why we didn't come in trying to say, yes, SKT's time to shine the second round, Robin, because it was so one-sided, and yet the last match is what we want to see today. We don't want to see a replay, no 3-0 today. We want to see the full 5-game series that was suggested by the second round, Robin.
Exactly right. We're going to have a look at Chovy, our MVP of 2019 spring, and very deserving. His early matches in this split were unbelievable.
And I think this is a really big story for him here, going up against Faker in the mid lane. That's what a lot of people want to see.
If there's any true final boss, I think it's Faker, right?
And that's the final boss for Chovy to really topple, as a lot of people are writing the narrative that he's the second coming of Faker. And here he gets to meet him in the final.
Honestly, the only player who's been anointed as a challenger to Faker's legacy through one of these LCK-era finals, the only Korean final that he's lost was against Longju, was against BDD, who went on to Kingzone, who was supposed to be the SKT replacement on the international stage. It never happened. Kingzone were a failure. That is the only best of 5 Faker has ever lost in the finals in the Champions or LCK era.
Well, we'll see whether Chovy can prove himself here today up against that monster of the mid lane. Clid here by his side on the opposing side has really changed how SKT have played around that mid lane. And I think he's the first jungler that Faker listens to.
And honestly, when it comes to the first pick and ban, we know Griffin's going to be on the blue side. A little bit of a spoiler, but that's plus established information. Do they ban Lee Sin or do they not? Because Clid's Lee Sin needs no introduction. The man just can't stop locking in Lee Sin whenever it's available. We're talking 19 picks just in spring 2019.
And the scary thing about Clid is that he's able to enable all 3 lanes. And all 3 lanes on SK Telecom are all capable of carrying. They're all capable of stretching leads a mile. And Clid's versatility inside of the jungle, but also his ability to play these aggressive junglers and complement his laners, is fantastic.
But versatility is a word that I would use for his opponent today, because Tarzan also is a man who, if he's on replacement for Sword, they want to keep last pick to counter pick jungle. They know they're going to see Lee Sin or Elise or something in the early game, or the early rounds of the draft, locked in by SKT. Griffin want to find one of those last picks for Tarzan.
Yeah, and we already know that that Sword is more than happy to go on the Ornn duty, like we saw Kingzone able to utilize very, very effectively against them. So allow the Jace to go through, just Ornn it, and then they did exactly the same thing to Jin to get that 2-0 at the end. But the opposition is what we need to talk about here. Can you pick the Ornn as Sword into Khan?
Khan is such a duality. I'm sure Ellis is going to have a strong opinion on this. Khan got over the line, but not convincingly, I would say, against Rascal. It felt like the roles were reversed a little bit in that series. That is a very interesting conundrum. If Khan is at 100%, I would say the answer is no. I don't think Ornn is just shrug off Jace like it was back when you had a shield on your W. And yet, Rascal made it look easy against Sword. Is that nameplate on? Is that nameplate off? What are your expectations for Khan today, realistically?
I think if we're looking at him off of the last series, Khan was looking really shaky. I thought he was a liability in the last series, alongside Faker, even though Faker had really strong wake-ups in the late game. Yeah. And so Khan, which one, like you were saying, is going to end up showing up here today? Because if he was playing at the level that he was playing at in the last series, I think Sword's going to be just fine. And with the meta being the way that it is, and like what the things that you're talking about, Jace did get hit in 9-6. Nautilus has yet to show his face. Ornn is something that can hold its own if it just gets an inch going for it. And if Khan's not on point, there's not going to be much that he can do.
And historically,